Thank you for joining me this afternoon, or good evening, or good morning. Depends where you are from around the world. I am Abed Baidas. I'm going to be your presenter this afternoon, and the founder and group chairman of Identity Branding Forum. We're going to have an exciting discussion today, and for a good reason. The reason why we're having this conversation because we have a critical time where a lot of business has changed, are changing normals. Challenges are taking over business dreams, people's dreams, youth dreams, colleges, education is in chaos. Most businesses around the world are being challenged by what everybody is forcing upon us to be convinced with is a new normal that is created by the COVID-19. Just one note, please. If you anytime you have a difficulty with your system, please refresh your page, and that should resolve the problem that you may have. Okay. So, all right. Uh, that said, Identity Branding Forum. That's the name of our company. Or we have a number of groups of solutions, programs. We have been operating in the world 2007, but prior to that, it's an evolution of efforts that started actually in 1996, with that led us to be where we are today. And everything that we do is about transforming the world, how to create relevancy, how to create sustainability, how to create disruptive brands, how to create out of box crazy ideas. Visit our website, the www.identitybrandingforum.net, to explore all the things that we have been doing to this day, and more to come, inshallah. Uh, fear, Today, it is no secret. Uh, we have a crisis. Most businesses, most institutions, most professionals around the world are busy putting out fires, and problems being faced on a daily basis, either by headlines in the news or regulation changes, mandatory changes that is affecting our lives and our ability to perform in business, our ability to perform as an individuals. The chaos also right now is between bringing people, keeping people working from home, that is being favored worldwide almost, or how to bring them back to office. How do we maintain momentum? How do we encourage mindset change among leadership that are resisting the new normal, for causing them to be failing? So all of that is being considered in terms of discussions. So we are living in a world that is, and I always like to say it, always operate a business expecting the unexpected. Always. Nobody expected COVID-19. Nobody expected that we will come into a time living to live through a pandemic changes. So that in itself, that experience that we are having today is teaching us that as a business, we should be ready, whether we had a pandemic or no pandemic, to always expect the unexpected, to be ready how to react to it. So we don't get into shambles to the chaos that we are having today for not being prepared. We are not mentally accepting it because we were not prepared for it. We didn't know how to react to it with all of these changes. So with the changes that happening right now, there is a changes in the mindsets of the consumer that is affecting how things are being played. With all of this, there are a lot of recommendations of to really how to deal with these challenges. But how could you really develop the competency as a business leader or as a business person or as an individual not just to deal with this change, to survive it, but how to lead through it and succeed. It is not the matter. It is not the issue of how to survive it. It's a matter how to take advantage of the opportunities that is taking place out of it. So you have to be smart. You have to be a smart business. You have to be a smart individual. You have to be like a radar screen, always ready to capture the opportunities out of a crisis, because this is what consumer be looking for. This is why Amazon, for example, succeeded during the pandemic. The technology companies, like for example Zoom, succeed that was worthless before the pandemic. Now it's worth billions after the pandemic. So there are things that you really need to start looking for, instead of crying over spilled milk. That what happened because of the pandemic, we need to focus where are the opportunities that consumers would find value. Now, there is a secret when I say consumers find value, not because of associated with your products, because your products are there, they're gonna need it, but they're not gonna accept dealing with it unless they see a value related to them. And that's the secret that will help you find the success out of it, through the people and the quality of the relationships for them to open up and deal with you. And this is exactly what we're going to be talking about. So what people know is what matters. You need to understand that. You need to find out exactly what do they really think of. Well, how do they feel about your business? How do they feel in general about the whole product perspective? How do they feel about the whole market? What's their attitude today? Because the attitude is actually what drives their emotions. Are they? Do they feel safe? Do they feel worrisome? Do they feel scared? Are they really ready for a new change? Because all of that, knowing what's their emotions, will actually help you to understand where is your brand equity is gonna go. Brand equity. I didn't say your business equity. And I'm careful saying that, and you'll understand why in a minute. So basically, you need to think about like people, character. Okay. Most people, if people have characters, where how their integrities, how they react during good times, through the bad times. How do they judge people? All of this creates a personality. Brands are exactly the same way. It has to present a personality, because people have a much easier time to understand you as a personality brand than you as a mystical technical details products. Okay, because the products are used to sell. The value of your brand, your personality, is what convinced me to deal with you. That makes me feel comfortable dealing with you to go to the next level. To the point that people who loves brands, they actually call their names, their kids after their brands. Because and what this is what makes us to think about what makes a brand as a good brand. It has to be to simplify choices, not to complicate them, not to go through the technical details, the performances and the likes, the quality that guarantee. But we don't stop there, because that's what you sell. What we need to go through beyond to complete the pictures is how fun it is to deal with you, how to attract interest, to provide aspirations and my dreams about it. So think about in terms of what is it that you really need to do to become an icon for people to name their kids after you, or after your business, or after your product areas that whatever you are doing in business. So your brand identity, it has to be different. Most people tells you that we are the best in the market. Okay, if you go to your competition, they will say the same thing. All right. So and consumers, by the way, don't know the difference. Who is the best? If you ask somebody is there a good doctor you know in the area, and we always hear this. Oh, this guy, I know this doctor for many years. He is the best. He knows everything. Well, is he really the best, or is there something else that is behind that comment that is being made? But it's actually the person is saying he is the best person that I found comfort dealing with, because a customer, a patient, don't know whether that doctor is the best professionally or not. We have no experience. I don't have that experience. The same thing with business. When you go to buy something, you don't buy it because you are convinced this is the best product. Because what makes the product appeal at first is the personality behind that product. Okay, so that's what you really need to start focusing on in terms of the business. That it makes it happen. And you need to start thinking about: do I want to be just like a good friend, trusted friend to last for years, or do I just want to be an acquaintance? Somebody just walks by, they buy from me, they don't buy from me, and that's it. They walk away. So it's a decision that you have to make that makes it or break it for you. So the first thing is you need to think about is it's all about them. This is the first rule in building brand value. Okay, there are many of them, but we don't have time to go through them unless we go through one of those lengthy workshops that we have. So you need to think about who is them, the segment in the population that you are targeting. Who's going to be the ones that is going to help you to lead to the rest of the other segments that you have? It's a strategic choices that you have to make. It is not just a simple thing as I want everybody. Well, I would love to have everybody, but you're not going to have everybody. You're not going to be able to present yourself, to present your products, build a value for everybody. It's expensive. Major brands that I presented before, like Nike, they don't deal with it in one campaign targeting the masses. They go different campaigns targeting different age groups, demographics, graphics around the world. That's what makes them successful. They don't go shotguns approach. They go sniper approach. And that's what makes your brand worthy, basically. So the quality of the brand isn't based on your product, but it's based on the strategic point of view. How you think. I'm not talking about politics here. I'm talking about how your strategic point of view that aligns with your stakeholders, for them to value you, how you care about them, how you treat your employees, how you treat your customers, the value, the things that you do to help your community, the needy in the community. All of this it builds up the perception, the right convincing buying in for customers to believe in you. Because now what they really need, the consumers of today are different than the consumers of yesterday. The consumers of today, they are looking for who cares for them. They don't care about how good or bad your products are. They want to see somebody that cares for them. And that's who's going to get them. And that's why they became successful with the digital companies around the world. So perception is king. Okay. And we have a say in branding. There is a perception that you have in your mind that consumers should have about you. But in reality, there is a perception that your consumers or your stakeholders have about you. The greater the gap between the two, the less value your brand is to them. The cost of your products are less. The closer the gap, the greater your brand value is. Okay. So what you really need to think about in terms of what is the perception the consumers have about you and how to align the two, yours and theirs, together to become close, aligned very well. Okay. That is what's going to make the difference between your products and the value. Of course, this might be confusing to a lot of business people, business owners and the likes. Let's make it a little clarification and simpler. You know this guy. This guy is one of the most famous people around the world, the most disliked people around the world. But why is he? He's actually, he knows that. He knows that he's disliked, and it didn't matter to him because he has a point of view that he succeeded to rally the people he believes in his point of views, and it didn't matter whether his lies went across all media, because all what mattered to him, it's actually the more media that passed around his claims during that elections, the more people who believes in his views is gonna be attracted to him. So that's why he was able to rally the 74 million people back in the United States back during the election, not because he was liked, because they had a point of views aligned with him. They don't trust in government. They don't trust in the system that is available in the United States. Now, you know, these guys are famous, but they are popular Among who? They are popular among entrepreneurs, people who are starting new businesses. Okay, they're not popular among the rich guys, the wealthy guys like the Warren Buffetts or the Bill Gates, or the Steve Jobs. God bless his soul. They're popular among the youth, the people that are striving to start a life. So that's another segment in your market that you need to talk. Nelson Mandela is another character. He's a popular, well-liked individual because he took a stand to say no to oppressions, to say no to the systems that has it there. So he became an icon in itself as a brand for all the free willing world around the world that love this guy around. Kids, this guy, this family, the Jackson family. They're lucky to have a father that believed in them and young. So he wanted to build the brand of the Jacksons that actually grew to become one of the most family brands around the world, successful ones. And the one that is made it very successful is Michael Jackson. And actually, one of my colleagues within identity branding forums in one of our programs, he's behind his success. He did his branding campaign, especially with the white gloves, and the scheme of the way, the layout that they had of him to present himself. So when you think about this brands, okay, these are the favorable brands around the world. Your YouTube, your Facebook, your Instagram, your Google, your Amazon. Now, can you think about what is the one thing in common that all of them have? Could you answer me? What is the one thing that they all have in common? What made them popular to this day, and why they are popular? Because of youth, the younger generation. They are the one who is actually excessively indulged in this technology, in these companies. That's what made them very popular worldwide. If that tells you anything, why did the youth, the younger generations, need these applications, technologies popular? Because they felt freedom. They felt the free will of choice. They felt their ability to do things that they were not allowed outside of these platforms. So if you need to think in terms of that perspective, and now if this is why youth favor these technologies, you really need to think about how youth could impact your business. Cannot neglect them, because they are the one who impacted these companies to become the multi-billion-dollar organizations that you cannot neglect. Okay. So when you talk about identity branding, it's a science and an art. A science of how to really build up your structures, the strategies and the likes, and the art of how to present it out. And without identity branding, really, you have no chance of succeeding. Simple as that. You might succeed with sales, but when you have a crisis like with the ones that happened with the coronavirus, it's going to be very tough for you to survive. Okay, unless you have that strong relationships or the strong value offering to your customers. Okay? And to build the brand value, to be a friend, you have to deal with three questions. You have to understand: who are you, who cares, and why. Simple. Why is the purpose? Why when anybody cares about you? It is not because how great your products are. It is not because how great your looks are, how many people you have got working with for you, all the machineries, the automations, the technologies that you have. There has to be a purpose behind it all for them to deal with you. Why are they going to deal with you in the first place? Think about hearts and minds. Okay, because most companies thinks of minds, benefits, prices, cost, and overlook what really matters to the consumers of today: hearts. People have to learn more about you. Good brands makes people feel good about you. Great brands makes people feel great about themselves. And this is a principle that we follow in branding, and it makes a lot of sense. Why it makes a lot of sense? Because we have two segments of consumers. You've got the consumers that are product intelligent, who cares about the features, who cares about the details of the products more than anybody else. I am not one of them. versus value smart consumers. Okay, and there's a big difference between the two. What have you? Okay, the first one, good brands makes people feel great, good about you, are the 15% of business success. 85% what makes people feel great about themselves are really being missed by most businesses because we are not focused about them. We are not really caring for what people really want, their aspirations, their needs that will help us as a brand take advantage and grow that additional 85%. Imagine we are only living 15% of our potentials. Can you imagine? How many of you thought of that? Okay, so the problem with businesses today, with the old mindsets, we are fixated on one thing, what you are. Okay, while the consumers of today, they care about who you are. They don't care what you have because that's what you have to make a living, to make your profits, to make your money. What they really need to do is, instead of just focusing on what you are, the things that you do, the things that you offer, start focusing on who you are for people to see the under you, to see clearly what you are really about to them. What is the value that you're going to create for them? So you really need to start thinking about this, okay, carefully. Whatever you do is the blood of your brand, the blood of your business. This is why you're in business. Who you are to people is the heartbeat, because this is what's gonna create excitement, consumers' excitement with your products, consumers' appreciation for who you are as a business. So now consumers is gonna be dealing with you, no matter how cheap your competition could be, or how better competition could be. They're gonna be dealing with you because of who you are to them, because of the value you bring them. This is what really pumps them up. This is what they see you. This is what they see through you, the person that really care. So this is what's most important for you as a business, whether you are an individual, a professional, or a business. Show you care. Okay, show that everything that you really your consumers wants and needs, they really, it matters to you, to them. Don't sell cars elsewhere. This is actually a real story that happened a few years back. One of the workshops that we were running, marketing director of one of the big major auto dealers in Jordan was participating. And I asked questions. What is it that you sell? She said, we sell cars and auto parts. I said, great. Now, I want you to think that all what you have is showrooms selling cars and auto parts and nothing else. Right. I says, wake up in the morning with a crazy idea, going to your shops, gathering your people, and telling them, today, from this day on, we are no longer going to be selling cars. What will you be selling? She went blank. She couldn't figure out what it is, how to answer to this question. She said, I don't know. How to. I says, I want you to think carefully. How about this? Think about selling peace of mind on the road. When the customer comes in, show them you care. That most important thing on your mind is the safety and the well-being of the family and his or hers on the vehicle, on the roads. They actually created a roadside assistance that doesn't exist before in Jordan at that time. So what you really need to do is how to create a social impact that has an impact on you. Standard Chartered years ago did this very successfully in villages that they were operating worldwide. Those villages didn't have power, didn't have electricity. They used to close at 5 o'clock in the evening, go home, and start business the next day, the day at sunrise. Okay, so they did something that is smart, brilliant, and I admire to this day. They brought electricity to those villages. They're not in the business of power generators. They're not in the business of selling electricity. But why did they do that? Because when they did that, shops that used to close at 5 o'clock, now they could stay open until 12 and all the morning time. People now are able to consume more products and goods and stay on the roads for more gas consumption. So what it meant basically, as there more money being circulated, that to be brought back and deposited at the bank at the end of the day. So what they did created a social impact that made everybody happy. Now we have electricity and power, but it actually also did. It increased the deposits of those villagers into the bank branches. Brilliant. Now, how many of you did think of that as a strategy for their businesses to come through? So now we really need to think about in terms of how do we come up with those unbiased out-of-box ideas that are relevant to our businesses. How do you get them? Okay. I always say give people a voice. This is how we're going to get them. Listen to everybody. Listen to you. Listen to your people. Listen to the people around you. Listen to your neighbors. Listen to your family. Listen to your customers. To everybody that matters to you, and that for you to care about, for them to be involved into the cycle of your business. So what it did here is it allows people to open up and tell you exactly what you really need to take into action next. So instead of you focusing, trying on how to do the next thing right based on the model that you used to have, now you'll start discovering the right thing to do next based on the feedback you're going to be getting from everybody. This is how you're going to get out of box ideas. Don't just focus on listening to your employees. Listen to them, but go outside of that box. And this is how you'll be able to identify human opportunities that are in real time, relevant to people, to your consumers, to your employees, to your customers, to your stakeholders. So you really need to, unless you give them a chance to voice out, speak out, create a conversation about social issues that matters to them, you're never going to understand what it is that's going to be next on their agenda. Who is going to be on the next agenda to take your place? Okay, no matter what you do, no matter how great you are in that. When you interrupt a relationship with somebody, when you stop communicating with somebody, they're not going to walk back into your showroom or into your office or needing your services that you have, right? It's natural instinct. So the how question, basically, how to identify opportunities, connect to human opportunities, and engage with the human opportunities. Key questions, simple. Like Steve Jobs says, think crazy. Okay, because the only people who change the world are the ones who think crazy, new ideas, great ideas. Okay, people didn't believe in him when he wanted to start in the late 70s. Same thing that happened with Bill Gates. A few of the other guys, people didn't believe that things is going to work out. Look at what happened to Android when they went to Nokia first. Nokia went out of business. Android today became the dominant platform for mobile phones in the world. So what you really need to do is start thinking crazy for a reason. This is first step. This is very critical. Don't take things for granted. The craziest ideas are the one who's going to make you successful for a reason, basically. And allow everybody around you to start thinking to think crazy. Don't say it's not going to work. It's not going to happen. Years ago, in 2002, when we started with e-learning, brought it to the Arab world, and everybody think, well, this is not going to work because the students don't want to leave the campus life style. Today, e-learning is being shoved across their faces now because they have to deal with it because of the pandemic. They were not ready for it. So what seems to be crazy at some point of time in the past is now the normal. So don't stop crazy ideas coming into your pipelines. Evaluate it, because this is what's going to be your next success, basically. So start with your agendas to questions yourself. What is the craziest ideas for change? Things that want to change in your life, things that you want to change in your family's life around you. Ask your employees the same thing. How radical it is going to be, that crazy idea. Test it to make sure that it's going to work. But don't stop at questioning yourself and your employees. Go out into the markets. Ask others what are their craziest ideas for change. Get their feedback. This is the voice that you really need to give to people to open up. That's real-time data of a future opportunities that you didn't have before. Okay, and that's what's going to make your business or break it. This is what's going to make you competitive or less competitive. This is what's going to make you succeed or go out of business. Because without that progression, it's not going to happen. And make it all of these ideas and make it relevant to you, to the people that you're targeting, to your employees, to your stakeholders, to your customers, everybody. and you. Okay, because and that's how you really start aligning yourself with the perception of your consumer, the perceptions of the market that you're targeting in your life. And this is the table that we created to start creating that connection, that engagement. Do you see that left table, the intangible basics? These are what everybody, the people cares about, their interest, their ambition, skills, talents. And this is what you really want to hear about. When you go out to, and this is what's your 85% opportunities for the business that you have been losing so far. And the 15% is the what you're actually selling: food, clothes, housing, health, education, transportation. Add to it whatever you want. But this is what you make your living. But this is what you care about selling, and this is what your consumers care about having. You helping them. So when you what you really need to do is figure out where it is that aligns with your interest that could actually be a great connect to what you do as a business. That's how you start having increasing from going from 15% to the 100% scale for your success. Start winning the 85% missing opportunities for your business to grow. And the next thing you need to do is how to make it scalable and sustainable. In our table protocol is when you focus on a generation and how to scale up to the next generation, to the next generation, to the next generation. So I'm thinking ahead of my time to how to stay sustainable business, and the cycle goes on. And this is critical for you as a business to how to connect and engage to the market and how to stay sustainable. And becomes your cycle. Okay, for your business to be sustainable, to be disruptive, to have a value. That starts actually when you voice out to people to get their human opportunities that help you to identify the value, helping you to define the type of relationships now you need to help you develop those values and deliver them, the type of partnerships and that will lead to improving your performance. If you notice, to sustain prosperity and human opportunities are correlated. If you see the brand value and the sustained developments are correlated, and these correlation is actually lead you to successful relationships and improved performance as a business. And this becomes actually how to build up your brand equity value. Okay, when you create a social impact, it will actually impact the brand equity value of your business. So instead of you looking at like years ago when I was with Nike, we used to say $1 billion is what actual business is. $7 billion is what's the business equity value to the market, basically. And once you have that brand equity value sustained by the social impact you create, it will sustain. I'm sorry. It will sustain social behavior to make sure that everybody is all of your stakeholders are aligned with you, so there are no contradictions, and you will sustain your success because those reaches through that social impact that you think about will help you to sustain your success. This becomes your lifelong journey of reach to building up the valuable relationships, loyalty, the high demand and growth, and to create the relevance, scalability, and sustainability of your business. Before I go on, I want to create a poll here for a minute. Do you own a business, a brand? Okay. 50-50 so far. Guys, I want to help you. I'm going to show a result. 50-50. Come on, more can answer. I know that. Do you own a brand? A business, a brand? Okay, let's take it as a 50, as 57. Okay. 62. Okay. Come on. More? I know we can get more. Okay, let's go back to the list. Do you own a personal brand? Even if you're a professional, you should be thinking about your personal brand. Even if you're an employee, you should be thinking about your personal brand. Okay, 100 so far, 100%. Wonderful. 100%. Okay, wonderful. I know we can get more of those. Any more participation? Okay. Next question. Are you satisfied with your brand? Fifty-fifty. It's changing. 75, not satisfied. 75%. Okay, I'm not going to ask you why. Or should I? Wow. Come on. I know that we have a lot more people in the group to answer. The majority of those responded, 71% are not satisfied with the brand that they have, their personal brand that they have. The question is, let me go back here and then we will go carry on with the next questions. What you really need to think about for your brand to be successful is that its value is like a pathway. You're like a train conjunction that is going to take people across to a destination. So that intersection pathway isn't defined by what you do, but it's defined by how you are helping people and businesses to create opportunities and grow. This is what your this is what really your customers wants from you, to be unique, to be different than your competition, because the competition is making the same claims you are making about your products or services, about your company. They don't care about that today. That with the world of technology that we are having today, it's totally different. So what you really need to think about, what kind of an intersection that you're going to have. Are you going to be focused on your product, or are you going to be focusing on creating opportunities for the world that you're dealing with? In less than 5 words, what is your brand value? Okay. Let me see here. One more question that I ask. Is your brand well understood in the minds of your audience? In other words, do they know your value? The majority know. It's clearly understood. They know your value, not your product, your value. Okay. 57% said yes. 42%, the majority. I'm disappointed why not the majority of our participants are really joining us in this polls. But we'll suffice with this. We'll take this as their response. Cool. Okay. Now, getting back to the questions that we have at hand. The value of our transformation identity branding forum. This is what we're doing right now. At the end of this month, it's going to be actually launched to show that we build value for the world. We're launching what we call SpeedX, first edition, empowering 500,000 youth campaign worldwide. Mainly, it's going to be in the Arab world, Africa, Asia, India, Malaysia, Singapore, and Pakistan. It's going to be the largest training and recruitment campaign that we're going to be creating using technologies, focusing on unemployed high school and college students and unemployed alumni. And you will all get the information about this campaign that will give everyone a chance to participate with us. And you're more than welcome to write us more, to request information on this, to see where you as an individual or your company or your business could actually take part of this campaign, know more about it before, when it's launched in the region. And the solutions that we provided as an identity branding forum for clients, we have our branding services. And this is the link. You can actually copy it or shoot it. The identity slash branding, Mithaq 360. That is actually coupled between our branding science and sustainable human development protocol to create sustainable disruptive brands on the charts. And this is part of the service that we provide, or the coaching services for executives that we help them to walk them step by step to build their brand value, to address certain solution problems. When you check the link, you will see the type of coaching the services that we deliver. The other things, tenets of endearment labs. You remember when I talked about connecting with youth? This labs actually brings high school students, college students, professionals, businesses together to filter out opportunities and discover really what aligns between for all of them, the future opportunities, the things that really matters to all of them for business to what is the right thing to do next. This is 33 days lab, but there's a spread of hours. Check this lab because it's really something you don't want to miss what's coming up. And then we have the capability centers where we have youth actually employed through this center, the Tenets of Endearment Capability Centers, which is going to be the feeders of the campaign that we're going to run, the SpeedX campaign, where we are delivering two services: discover future opportunities or solve challenges, and by high school students, college students, and alumni for businesses around the world that they are finding very attractive by a much better cost and effective for them to find solutions, answers that they really need quickly. Mike Salisbury Fellowship. This is the guy that actually did the branding for Michael Jackson, and we have a fellowship for him where you can actually be trained by him and sharing your views and his views 4 times throughout the year. The fellowship that you subscribe to, and he's actually one of the branding legends around the world, and it's an honor to have them on board with us. And then we have a customizable branding certification. To this day, we are the only organization in the world that provides branding certification. A lot of major organizations built their branding departments around our programs. These are customizable based on a need basis on what is the company or the business or the establishment needs to establish forward. And with this, I stop. And now it's time to take your questions.